When a national team is announced, it's supposed to be a simple list of names, a lineup for the next chapter of international competition, but when Spain's latest squad hit the wires, it immediately became something more. A story that raises questions about fairness, power, and how careers can be reshaped by a single public decision. 7 Barcelona players, familiar faces who dominate club headlines, earned their spots, yet Joan Garcia, who many had penciled in as the next rising star, found himself on the outside looking in. The coach, Luis de la Fuente, didn't hide behind vague power lines. He offered a principle that sounds almost defiant in the age of transfer fees and social media controversy. Selection on merit, not on the badge stitched to a player's shirt. That was the core of his message, and in that 3-word idea lies the drama of the day. For fans who follow club loyalties, the omission feels personal, a snub to a player who burst into form. But for a coach building a national identity, it's a public signal that club prestige will not automatically buy international opportunity. The immediate fallout is easy to imagine. Talk shows debating whether the new signing was treated fairly, pundits replaying a season of highlights to make or break an argument, social media dividing into camps that measure everything by emotion rather than context. Yet strip that down and there are quieter, more consequential threads. Joan's season has been impressive, the kind of story that prompts expectation. But international squads have limited seats and, in a step that some will call bold and others conservative, De La Fuente leaned on a longer view. He reminded everyone that the national team is a different machine, one that needs cohesion, role fits, and sometimes a measured approach to bringing in new faces. That doesn't close the door on Joan. The coach himself said the moment will come. But it does mean the waiting now becomes part of the narrative, a test of patience and of how a player answers the next call from critics, coaches, and himself. While the Joan story grabbed headlines, another narrative ran parallel and demanded attention. Lamine Yamal, the teenager whose talent has become shorthand for a new era of Spanish flair, found himself defended by the very coach under pressure to explain selection choices. The celebration that some caricatured as arrogance was reframed by De La Fuente as something lighter and more human. He called it a wizard's hat, and then redirected scrutiny towards the player's work ethic and discipline. That defense matters. It shifts the lens away from tabloid spectacle to the daily grind behind a young star's rise. And it exposes a deeper tension in modern football, the mix of youth, celebrity, scrutiny, and the responsibility of national coaches to shield and shape careers without becoming stifling. Then there's Fermin Lopez, a player whose name appears in transfer whispers linking him with moves abroad. De La Fuente's subtle preference for Spanish players to stay in La Liga reads like a plea for the domestic league's strength. Keep talent at home and the league thrives. The national team benefits and the domestic game grows. It's not a hard edict, but a stated preference that sends a message across club offices and agent WhatsApp groups, where you play matters, not just for money, but for the ecosystem that nurtures national success. For players weighing the glitter of a new contract against continuity and development, that message becomes another factor to weigh. Taken together, these threads, the omission of Joan Garcia, the defense of Lamine Yamal, the cautionary notes about players leaving Spain, create a moment of clarity about what De La Fuente values: a slow strategic curation of talent, an insistence on principles over headlines, and a willingness to accept short-term noise for what he believes will be longer-term gain. For Barcelona, the reaction will be mixed: pride that so many of their players were chosen, frustration that a new man in blue was held back. For Joan, the snub can be painful, but it is also an invitation. Come back stronger, prove that merit is not just talked about, it's earned. For viewers and fans, the takeaway is a reminder that national selections are not just about immediate spectacle, they are a public, high-stakes conversation about identity, development, and the future of the game in Spain.